Title: My milk has dried up. Human. My baby hasn't fed for days. An alien mother begged for her child. The harsh, metallic hum of the spaceship's engines echoed through the dimly lit corridors. Alya, the alien mother, leaned weakly against the cold wall of the ship, her golden skin glistening in the dim artificial lights. Her large, tear-filled eyes were fixed on the door at the end of the hall, the only thing separating her from her child. It had been days since she had last felt her baby's small hands clasping her chest, trying to feed. Days since the milk had stopped flowing, a crippling sign of her failing body. Her species, the Za'thara, needed the nourishment to survive, and without it, the young were doomed to starve. The thought of losing her child, the last part of her family, wore her down further. "Please, please, someone help me," she whispered to herself, as if the very act of saying it might make her situation real. Her mind kept drifting to her child, her small, delicate daughter, who lay in the ship's medical bay under the care of human doctors. Alya hadn't known much about humans before her encounter with them, but in these dire moments, it was their understanding of medicine that had kept her hope alive. But now she wasn't sure. The medical team had told her that her milk had dried up, a sign that her body was rejecting the nutrients she so desperately needed to feed her child. Desperation was slowly turning into resignation. The door creaked open, and a human doctor, Dr. Williams, stepped in. His lab coat was slightly crinkled, his tired eyes darkened by the sleepless nights of caring for the ship's various patients. When he saw Alya, his expression softened, but the frustration was clear. "We've tried everything we could," Dr. Williams said, his voice calm but worn. "We've run every test, every possible intervention. Your body isn't responding the way it should. You're dehydrated, malnourished." Alya's eyes widened with fear. "What about my baby? My child? What will happen to her?" Dr. Williams sighed and lowered his gaze. "We're doing our best, Alya. But without your milk, we're limited in what we can do." The words hung in the air like a heavy fog. Without her milk, there was little hope for her daughter. The thought of her baby dying, alone and hungry, tore at Alya's heart. "I can't lose her," Alya's voice cracked as she dropped to her knees. "Please, you must help me. She's all I have left." Dr. Williams walked closer, kneeling beside her. "Alya, I understand your pain. But you need to understand there's nothing more we can do. Without your milk, we can only provide her with nutrients, but it's not the same. It's not what she needs." Alya's head dropped in defeat. For a moment, she couldn't find the strength to speak. But then she remembered her bond with her child, the feeling of her small body curled into hers, the warmth of her breath as she fed. The deep connection between mother and child could never be replaced by machines or human-made solutions. She clutched her chest, as if willing her body to produce what her baby needed. "Please," she whispered once more. "I will do anything to save her. Anything." Dr. Williams hesitated, his face etched with concern. He didn't know how much longer the baby could survive without the nourishment her mother could provide. It was a dire situation, and human medicine was struggling to meet the need of a species so different from their own. He thought of the countless times he had witnessed the resilience of human mothers, willing to sacrifice everything for their children. And now, standing before him, Alya, an alien mother in a similar position, was willing to do the same. "I have an idea," Dr. Williams finally said, his voice carrying a glimmer of hope. "There's one option, but it will require everything you have." Alya looked up at him, her heart pounding. "What must I do?" The doctor explained the complex procedure, one that was experimental, untested, and carried a high risk of failure. But it was the only thing that could possibly save her child. It involved a combination of her own biological matter, altered by human technology, to jumpstart her body's lactation once more. It was her last chance. With no time to waste, Alya agreed. The procedure began immediately, with Dr. Williams and his team working tirelessly to find a solution. Hours passed, and Alya's body was pushed to its limits, but her resolve never wavered. She couldn't give up, not when her child needed her. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Dr. Williams turned to her. "It's working. We've stabilized your lactation. Your milk will begin to flow again." Alya's heart soared as she felt the warmth returning to her body. She knew it was not a permanent fix, but it was enough to give her child a fighting chance. Moments later, she was at her daughter's side. The small, frail body lay in the sterile crib, still weak from hunger. Alya's hands trembled as she lifted her child, cradling her close. She could feel the warmth of her daughter's body, the fragile, desperate hunger in her tiny breaths. And then, as if by magic, her daughter latched on. Alya felt the familiar pull as the milk flowed once more, a rush of relief and joy filling her chest. Her child was feeding again. The connection between mother and child had been restored. Tears of gratitude and exhaustion rolled down Alya's cheeks as she looked down at her baby. "We made it," she whispered. "We made it." Dr. Williams stood in the doorway, watching the scene unfold. His face was weary, but a smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. He knew they had just witnessed something miraculous. An alien mother, her body and will defying the odds, saving her child. Alya gently rocked her baby in her arms, whispering softly to her in her native tongue. For now at least they were safe. And for Alya that was enough. After hours of uncertainty, the procedure worked. Alya felt warmth spreading through her body once more, and she could sense the milk returning. She rushed to the medical bay, her heart racing as she reached her daughter's side. The small, frail body lay in the crib, still weak and thin from hunger. Alya lifted her child into her arms, the familiar weight comforting her. As the baby stirred, Alya felt a surge of emotion. Her little one's tiny hands grasped for her, instinctively seeking nourishment. Alya gently guided her child to her chest, the milk flowing once more. She could feel the connection between them, the bond that had been temporarily severed now restored. The sound of her baby feeding filled the quiet room, and Alya's heart swelled with relief. She had done it. She had saved her child. Dr. Williams, standing in the doorway, watched the scene with quiet awe. His tired eyes softened, a faint smile touching his lips. The odds had been against them, but here they were, witnessing a mother's strength defy the impossible. Alya looked down at her baby, her eyes brimming with tears. "We made it," she whispered. Her voice cracked with emotion as she kissed her child's forehead. She had fought for this moment, fought for the life of her baby, and now they were safe. In the quiet, dim room, mother and child shared a moment of peace. Alya rocked her baby gently, whispering words of love, knowing that, for now, they had won. They were together, and that was all that mattered.